Yep. Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another video. Now you're probably noticing something. Due to popular demand, I'm out again on the kayak today. My pops mate Larry was kind enough to let me use it again, and as you just seen by the first cinematics, we're going to be targeting bream, and I'm going to be targeting these bream a little bit differently. Now I usually like to chuck soft plastics for bream, but today I've decided to challenge myself and use some lures that I don't often use. On this setup right here, I got this little Ecogear SX40, just picked it up from my local tackle shop the other day, never ever used it before. And on my other combo, I've got a little, I think this is the 45 gram olive Cranka Crab. Now if you watch a lot of tournaments or you're a tournament angler yourself, you would know that these Cranka Crabs, especially in that olive colour, are an absolute killer. And that's what we're going to be tossing around today. Now I'm not going to be tossing them around your usual structural pontoons and bridges. I'm going to be chucking it around these fallen down trees. There's a little bit of wind starting to pick up, as you can probably hear in the mic, but besides that, it's a beautiful, beautiful day. I reckon we start getting into some fishing. I'm going to chuck around that crab first off. Let's get into it. And that's that little lure, that little olive Cranka Crab. But let's get fishing. Running 8-pound braid and 8-pound leader. Now usually you want to be using around 6-pound leader for your bream, but this is an area where flathead are quite common, and if I hook up to a flathead, I just want that little extra reassurance that he won't snap off my $25 lure. Now these crabs are a little bit tricky to fish because you don't really do too much to them. You kind of just let them do all the action. Those claws are made of foam, so while that hard lure sits on the bottom, the claws are going to be up in the air and look super realistic, like a crab defending itself. So all you really want to be doing is you can either do a very, very slow wind with some pauses, or just some really light hops. Just pop that off the bottom. I'm gonna whack on a little bit of scent just on the underneath side of that crab, like so. A lot of this goopy weed up here, which could become an issue. Yep, fish on. That did not take too long at all. A little bream. And the key is, when you're working these lures, to just try not to be tempted to really strike. You kind of just wind them on. And there we go, that's the first fish aboard. A little bream on that Cranka Crab. He's just hooked my shoe. First fish of the morning, just a little tacker. But there's that crab hanging out of his mouth. The hooks are actually on like the little claws of the crab, so when the bream come over and try and pick off the claws, they just get hooked. Cool start. Let's get him back. Let's keep fishing. There we go. See you, Mr. Bream. Straight off. Oh, yep. Oh, that's why you don't strike. That was a good tap as well. Stop striking, man. It's just a bad habit that when you feel that bite to strike. Yeah. Oh. Come back, little buddy. It's only small. I'm just going to put on a little bit of extra scent, and I'm only applying it to the belly. Now, we've actually had quite a lot of wind come up, and I didn't get any bites along this little section here. The bream seemed to be just off this end, and that's just because we have an incoming tide, and that flow is going to be pushing right around this corner. That's why the bream will be sitting on the bend. You know, this wind's probably going to completely destroy my mic audio. Well, let's see if the bream is still lurking around this log. Well, there definitely was. I got some other hits. They weren't big, but you never know. Yep, got one. That took a little bit of time. Is that a tailor? Oh no, it's a bream. Another little bream off that same bit of structure. It's like the exact same size as the last. Oh no, he's slightly better. ever so slightly better. I hate bringing them in the boat or the kayak when they're little because they just do this, they carry on. Oh, I just dipped my reel in the water. It's alright, it was only the very, very bottom of it. That's lucky. He's gone ahead and rolled something silly in my net. Don't know how I'm supposed to get that out. Try and get it out of the fish first. There we go. Another little Brembo sitting right up against this piece of structure. I'll explain it a little bit better, but what we have is an incoming tide, and the tidal flow is obviously pushing up this system, and it branches down this way and down that way. So the brim are going to be concentrated right on that bend, waiting for the bait to split off in two directions. There we go, that's the result. Not a giant, but see you, dude. Now this is the exact same place where I cracked a 40 centimeter brim a couple videos back. So hopefully that guy's hanging around, or he's got some mates. Oh, no strikey, no strikey. Yep. Got him. That's a better fish. I go pretty light. Keep those hooks in. I think he's around a bit of a snag. Oh, lots of snag. He's got me wrapped. He's got me wrapped on something. Alright, maybe out. Nah, there's a big log here. He's got me fully around it. Oh, starting to get him up, but I've got to go through the trees. Rod tip down. I'll have him out. I do have him out. It's a good fish. Alright, go back down there. I'll chuck this in its holder. A little bit of a skit's first run there. Got him on. Hello, son. Well, you fell victim to the crab. And you're a lot better. You're not a giant, but that is a much better fish. And well, fish number 3 finally hits the deck. This little Cranka Crab is absolutely killing it this morning. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they're really on that morning bite. I think he had a couple of mates in that log as well, because they attacked it a couple of times. They're not huge guys, but there's definitely potential to be some big ones around. Nice little brum. That hook's out of him. It's going to be pretty hard to water release because I have a bit of a cover over the mic, so the wind doesn't affect it too much. But he should be pretty keen to swim off. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a cracking little session so far. Absolute cracker. We're going to continue to work the structure with this crab because it's working a treat. Get my foot in that pedal. This one right here looks prime. That fish was actually really yellow. When they're up the back here, they're usually really dark. Very surprised with how bright yellow that guy was. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, I dropped him. Wasn't even concentrating. There's just swarms and swarms of little brim up here. We've got to pick off some good ones in the mix, surely. Alright, I'm going to start making my way back up this way for another drift. We actually seem to pick off quite a number of brim along here, and also a really good amount of hits. So I'll do that drift again. We've got that incoming tide like I was talking about, so that water's only getting dirtier. Obviously, when you have a high tide, it brings in fresh, clean water. But up the back, it actually turns it pretty dirty, which is great for brim. Yep. Took a little bit of time, but on that second drift, we're on again. Oh, he's got some buddies behind him. Should I try something silly? Oh, he's gonna get me on the log. Get him up. Oh mate, get off that log. Oh, his mates are much better as well. I was going to try chuck out another lure, but stuff that idea. Oh, he's going up under it again. Stop going under there, you silly bozo. These trees keep getting in my way. Every time I hook a fish, we just go straight towards the bank for some reason. Come up. There we go. Please, skits, somewhere else. Please calm down. Another brim. Taking that little crab lure once again. Look at the gnashes on him. Big, big gnashes. What I'm thinking I might do is just do one last drift fishing both banks. I've worked the area pretty well, so if I don't pick off any more, I'm going to head up this way, and there's another arm up there that hopefully will be out of the wind, and that also has fallen down trees and good structure, and we'll see if we can pick off some brim over there. But for now, I'll just give this one last drift and then we'll head off. Just made it to a little bit of a sand flat, and I'm going to chuck this crab around. We'll see if we can pick off a brim that's feeding up on the flat on these yabby holes. And there's also quite a lot of flathead in this area, although I don't mind picking up a flatty or two. It'll be a very nail-biting fight, so I'm not really trying to lose. I think, what is this lure, $25, $27? Either way, I'm not trying to lose it. So we'll give here a bit of a go, and then we'll make our way down to that arm I was talking about a bit earlier. Well, we worked that flat pretty well. Got nothing, so we'll move up to this spot. Got to battle the wind first. Of course my phone's ringing right now. As soon as I set the camera up. John, I'm sorry, I can't take your call right now. I've got some important business to do with some brim. Well, I think we can give a rest in peace to the Cranka Crab, because I've just tried my best and that is not coming off. That is so deep down there. You shall be missed. Fuck's sake, man. So I've just changed the back treble off that little Ecogear hard body, and we're going to be chucking around this for now on, since we said we were going to. Just rest in peace, Cranka Crab. Rest in peace. He provided us with 5 fish, and then I'll never see him again. Never again. And I don't think I'll get one for a very long time, because they put a big hole in your pocket. Like I said, $25 to $27. No thanks. But we're still going to be fishing around these trees and whatnot. So I'm going to tie that lure on right now. Keep flicking. Hopefully I don't lose this. Fingers crossed. But yeah, let's give it a go. Now I've got absolutely no idea how to work this lure. You're supposed to slow roll it if you're supposed to do little twitches. I wouldn't have a clue. So I'm just going to put everything I know in one. And just hope that the fish like it. Oh, yep. Oh, wow. Twitch, twitch, and we're on. All right, buddy. We know you're all right now. Definitely a brim. I'm stuck in all these trees. Well, at least we know the lure action I just did worked. Because I had no idea what I was doing. What is this? Oh, is that a big black brim? Big black brim. This kayak is very dodgy at the moment. Get up on my knees. I can't get out of here. Oh, it's an EP. Wow. Alright. That's why it's fighting so hard. Oh, and it's a good perch. It's a very good perch. Oh, that's my PB. Oh, come on, buddy. I've hooked him good. Right underneath these snags. Yes! Woo! Wow! That's a giant. That's a giant. You just get a load of this huge estuary perch right here. Just right up against that structure. I had no idea, like I was saying, how to work that lure. No idea. Twitch, twitch, bang. Thought it was a bream, but no, just a very big barramundi imposter. The estuary perch. Such a stunning looking fish and an incredible surprise. That is all worth it after losing that cranker crab. That is all worth it. Like always, we'll get this guy a measure, quick photos, and he'll be going back. Wow. Just gonna grab my measure mat out. Oh, I think this fish is gonna beat my PB. I actually can't remember what my PB was. I think it was 42. 42 or 43. We're about to find out. There we go. From the front all the way to the tip, bang on 40. I'm not quite sure if that's my PB or not. I might have to look back, but I think it might be. My PB might have been 38. I don't know. Either way, cracking big fish. In between everything, just going to keep dipping the fish in the water and refreshing it. I obviously want it to swim off strong, and this is the best way to do so. Just giving it a bit of water from time to time. Always a welcome surprise when targeting bream around structure. He's kicking. It's always good. Okay, mate, your time has come to send you on your way. Should be more than ready, just because I've had it in the water the whole time, in between photos and measuring. Alright, see you, mate. Off he goes. Nope, can't see him on that side. When I bring that fish aboard, he just dropped this little thing, little parasite. That's a scary looking thing right there. Get out of here. Don't stick to any more fish, you little sod. Look at that little lizard. Just jumped in the water. Going back up to the same bit of structure, just to see if there's any more lurking around. Sometimes they sit in schools. Oh, you're kidding me. You know that lizard I was just recording? He's fully sunbaking on this branch. I'll get the big camera out and show you. What's up, Rango? That is a cool looking lizard. Psycho colours on him. And he's off. What? Bet that water's cold. Up from that tree onwards, I worked all along that edge and caught nothing. Got a little tailor hit, which is not really what you want, so I've decided to move back to this sand flat that I said I was going to move back to earlier. And I've got this little chase bait, little mullet profile. I've never actually used it before, but it looks really cool. And we're just going to be targeting some flatty on the flat. Put a little bit of scent on there. We'll give it about half an hour to an hour, maybe a little bit less, and then we'll call it a day. It's been a pretty full-on day out. Like, I think I've done, what, 6-7 hours, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to do a bit of standing. Oh, that looks exceptional in the water. If that doesn't get eaten, I'll be very surprised. Alright, we're going to call it a day. In chucking this lure around on that flat and in the deep, and we just can't get a flathead to bite, so we're going to head off home, call it a day.